Last week, we learned some very valuable things about this complicated game called football.
You can't snap the ball to yourself.
Plus,
they have their meat package in the game.
I'm sorry, what?
Meat package? Is that what we're going with?
Did I just sit on the remote? And the Chargers finally chargered again, this time in epic fashion.
Banana boat number 2.
Welcome to Shutout Football. I'm Jeff Stoltzfus. That's Kevin. Week 7 in the NFL gave us a shutout, uniforms you could see from space, and 2 games that tested the limits of human endurance. Let's get to the games.
Bengals fans were hyped up by Gandalf the Bald. Thursday Night Football trotted out their olds. 2 40-plus quarterbacks looking for a win and a nap. It was a whiteout at Paycor Stadium, a.k.a. a Caucasian occasion. The Steelers were getting fat-shamed, and to each his own. I like my linemen chunky, like my soup. The Steelers ran a tush-push, and 270-pound Darnell Washington was doing the pushing. Dear God, thought Connor Hayward, don't let me wake up in our center's colon again. Mike Tomlin said, trading Flacco to a division rival was dumber than dog shit. His words, not mine. And it proved true. He threw for 343 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no turnovers. Joe Flacco is the Aaron Rodgers of Jake Brownings. Flacco is so chill. Show me a close-up of his groin. Yeah, that's nice. Prime time. Jamar Chase was targeted 23 times. 24 if you count these sexually explicit love letters from Who Day. He had 161 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 drop that left Flacco looking like he just discovered the secret ingredient in Beyond Meat was people. The Bengals did a tush-push too, and Drew Sample was quite complimentary of Flacco's recent BBL. Flacco surprised everyone after he ran for a first down. Zach Taylor's balls must be hairier than a Venezuelan jungle to make that call. Fans were elated and jiggly. After the game, Bengals fans were chanting, "Thank you, Cleveland, for giving them the greatest gift since Bone Thugs and Harmony. 1 win." The Jaguars were in London again, and their luggage wasn't the only thing that was lost. Trevor Lawrence couldn't hit the water if he fell out of a boat. The number 1 pick looked like a number 2. They called him the Duke of Duval, and I agree with everything but the spelling. He was sacked 7 times. Tea time, motherfucker. There was no Puka in this, no Nakua. The Baba Yaga of the Rams receiving corps was sidelined with a Polynesian ankle sprain, which is just a regular ankle sprain, but it comes with a slow-cooked pig. Matthew Stafford, who I feel comfortable calling Matt, spread the love, hitting 10 different receivers. There's no I in team, but there is in London. Stafford set an international record, if that's a thing, throwing 5 touchdowns, including 3 to Davante Adams, who, if he ever decides to transition, could easily become Davante Madams. Rich Eisen looked like a floating head. Jimmy Garoppolo had to come in for a very handsome victory formation because Stafford refuses to kneel before the monarchy unless a knighthood is being bestowed. Chase Young brings a lot to this Saints defense. He blocked a pass with his face. You can't teach that. Center Drew Dahlman made an executive decision not to give Caleb Williams the ball.
You can't snap the ball to yourself.
Some say he's still holding that ball to this day. I'm all for mobile quarterbacks, but where the fuck is Caleb Williams going? It's like he's running a 40 in an invisible corn maze. And here comes Curly Fries, the man. Spencer Rattler looks like a Halloween-themed peep. He looks like he was conceived in Dorito dust. Damn it, I'm hungry. He turned the ball over 4 times. Kinda weird to be a recurring character in everyone else's highlight reels. The Bears went for it on 4th down and botched the snap. But lucky for them, they were saved by their own false start, the NFL equivalent of tripping up the stairs. What must the Bears facility be like these days? I imagine a lot of rounded corners. Ben Johnson doesn't even smile when he wins. I'm not even sure he has teeth. I gave him a stick of bubble gum once, and he just looked at it. The Dolphins were overwhelmed in wet conditions as the Browns called their most innovative formation.
The Browns, they have their meat package in the game.
I have no idea what that is, but it sounds like a 15-yard penalty. It turned out the Dolphins were not ready to receive such a package.
Meat package, is that what we're going with? The meats. We have the meat.
Quinshon Judkins battered his way to 3 touchdowns. They didn't even need a pass game, which is good because they don't have one. Nothing says Dylan Gabriel is our guy like putting him on the sideline during scoring plays. The wet weather was ironically too much for the Dolphins. They turned the ball over 4 times. D. Eskridge had a kick return punched out, and Tua Tagovailoa was picked thrice. They brought in 7th-round rookie Quinn Ewers just to see the look on his face. Fucking precious. Down 4 scores in wet weather against Myles Garrett? Punt. The Dolphins are 1-6, and it might be time to start investing in cardboard boxes. Despite the box score, I present to you photographic evidence of the Raiders at this game. This game was nothing more than an alibi for the Raiders, as the Chiefs continue to fine-tune their sugar-sucking shit machine. The Chiefs were jazzed to the tits to get receiver Rashee Rice back. He scored 2 touchdowns, which was great to see. He's had some trouble in traffic lately. And here come the Raiders. The Raiders only mustered 3 first downs all game. They had a better chance of Pete Carroll passing than their offense.
But the reason you give the ball back, because there's chips in those footballs.
It's their guac in Tony Romo's head, because then we got a party. They brought in Kenny Pickett, and he immediately botched the snap. Kenny Pickett is 3 holes short of being Mark Sanchez. Jalen Hurts went ballistic. He put the naysayers back in the barn and threw for 363 yards and 3 scores. Devontae Smith got the bulk of it. He really earned his birdseed. Jalix Hunt picked off Ginger Frankenstein monster Carson Wentz and returned it for points. Everything was going right for the birds, except for Vic Fangio, who was accidentally put at the kiddie table. In the middle of the game, Carson Wentz gave himself a mammogram, which is different than a momogram, unless you give one to your mom, which is frowned upon. It was Bryce Young versus Justin Fields, and it was about as much fun as watching dueling pianos with amputees. The best thing you can say about the Jets is their predictability. You could set your watch to a Jets loss. Justin Fields looks like a frog. There is no context for that, he just does. They called Bryce Young a game manager, and 3 Karens immediately asked to speak to him. Aaron Glenn was here to do 2 things: chew bubblegum and lose to a poverty team. Mark Schlereth told the world's worst knock-knock joke.
There's nobody there. There's nobody there. There's nobody there.
This game turned into Andy Dalton versus Tyrod Taylor, and it quickly breathed new life into the concession stand. There was a new coach in town, and his name was, I want to say, Frank McCatheter. It was Mike McCoy, you remember, from Stuff. Someone dumped a box of adorable kitties on the field, and Mike Vrabel stayed ready for a little pounce and cuddle. Titans owner Amy Adams Strunk was on hand. She's excited about the Titans' future success, the way my kids are excited by Tooth Fairy money. No clue where it comes from. Drake May had to swap his helmet out. His first one featured the failed Yankee Candle scent, Old Milk. Tavondre Sweat was making tackles and doing his signature celebration, me at a buffet. Cam Ward threw a pass without the ball. I do the same thing with my dog. Sure, it looked bad, but on the plus side, nice mechanics. Holy shit, we gotta talk about these uniforms. I love them. I love anything you can spot through a thick fog. Penalty flag yellow to let them know what you're about. I didn't know the Savannah Bananas had an NFL team. Judging by their jerseys, they need to drink more water. Defensive tackle and possibly former president Grover Stewart deflected a pass and made the interception. Move over, Grover, and let Taylor take over. Jonathan Taylor had 3 scores and danced like he was doing hopscotch, or maybe wiping something stuck to his shoe. It's unclear. Judging by Evan Washburn's hair, he was headed right for Shane Steichen. At some point, staring at these uniforms was too much for my brain, because I swear, every time Ian Eagle said Herbert, all I heard was pervert.
Herbert out of the pocket. Herbert on the move.
The Chargers did a tush-push, but J.J. Watt had a better name for it.
Rode the banana boat to the first down there.
And just like the toilet paper possibly stuck to Jonathan Taylor's shoe, it stuck.
Banana boat number 2.
Brian Dable got super sexist and asked the lady ref to cook. The Giants' defense was more oppressive than a conservative Midwestern town that outlawed dancing. The Broncos couldn't find an inch, and Sean Payton invited a stroke. But with 5 minutes left, Bo Nix broke out his Three Stooges impersonation and mounted the greatest comeback since Sacagawea carved Mount Rushmore, taking the lead in just under 3 minutes of game time. Jackson Dart restored the lead and probably saw victory beer pong in his future, but he doesn't know Bo. Nix put him in range, and Will Lutz executed. If players truly take after their coaches, I fear for the dog of every Giants player tonight. Javonte Williams had over 100 yards and owns the second most rushing yards this season, unlike Tom Brady, who owns a blender and tries to work it into every conversation.
Look at that juice.
CD Lamb went for over 100 yards. He broke a long touchdown after 2 defenders crashed into each other. He could have moonwalked in. Where did the Commanders' run game go? Their top 2 rushers were their quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels and old bad Jaden Daniels. Marcus Mariota tried to stop the bleeding by wearing a tourniquet like a dog collar, but instead, he made Deron Bland Deron mildly interesting after he housed a pick. The Commanders are surely bound for hell after they committed the most unforgivable sin: make the Cowboys look good. It was Jacoby Brissett again, in for Little Red Riding Hood. The Cardinals haven't missed a beat since Kyler Murray's injury, in that they are good until they are not. Micah Parsons had a career-high 3 sacks. He might have been there when Brissett put his pants on that morning. Coach Gannon said Parsons limited their playbook. Fine by me, said Brissett. I didn't want to read anyway. Kicker Lucas Havrasek set a Packers franchise record with a 61-yard field goal.
Havrasek, who put on a Packers uniform for the first time last week. He was about to take a job as a substitute teacher in Cleveland.
To think he could have been in Cleveland right now, kicking children 61 yards through the air. Caden Ellis picked off Mac Jones off a ricochet. You can't teach that kind of being right there. Christian McCaffrey looked like his old self, which was actually younger. He went into the end zone untouched when he was very much expecting to be touched. On his second touchdown, the Niners employed a new technique by dragging him by his face.
What was the message to the defense?
Help! Sunday Night Football created National Running Backs Day with what appeared to be a velour muumuu and one half of 2 chains. Melissa Stark got too close and was immediately turned into a street magician. Jahmyr Gibbs ripped off over 200 yards from scrimmage, and Todd Bowles soiled himself in protest. On a 78-yard score, Gibbs outran everything but the light and celebrated with an ode to Fonzie jumping the shark. It was happy days in Detroit. Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield was hearing voices telling him to kill, kill, kill. And also, there's a sale at Merv's. I guess even schizophrenia comes with ads now. Amik Robertson punched the ball free from Sterling Shepard. Thank God a ball was there, or he would have punctured a lung. The recipe for the Lions defense included a pinch of assault. Every Lions tackle looked like a tryout for the UFC. Lucky for Tez Johnson, he's too small to be detected by the naked eye. He flitted and floated like a leaf in the wind on his way to points. Dan Campbell got so angry he enjoyed calisthenics. Who will carry these plates that no one can see? Aiden Hutchinson took a whore's bath, and that was game. CJ Stroud was tackled in the end zone for not a safety. They gave him forward progress, despite the fact he was going backwards. The ball was spotted at first contact, which is reserved for extraterrestrials, incels, and apparently the Houston fucking Texans. They wouldn't even let Coach McDonald challenge it. He should have thrown a flag anyway. Throw his socks and his underwear too. Sow the seeds of his dissatisfaction into the turf and grow rice to throw at them like an angry wedding. Sam Darnold bound Jackson Smith-Njigba for a score. And for a split second, it looked like the ref was going to lift him Dirty Dancing style and spin him around. Nobody puts Njigba in the corner. But no, they flagged him. Would it kill you to put a few hoops in the end zone? C.J. Stroud lost the ball, and the Texans recovered it for not a safety. A second fumble turned it into a touchback, and suddenly, I've never wanted a safety so much in my life. No one would sit with Sam Darnold after he microwaved broccoli in the break room. Inconsiderate, that's what that is. The Seahawks did a tush push, which, for them, should really be called a Pearl Jam. I mean, let's at least talk about it. The Texans defense caught Sam Darnold in the end zone. Finally, this is it. But no, it too was not a safety because he fumbled the ball. I hope you both lose.
And now the soft pretzel of the week. Yummy. This week, the pretzel goes to Nate Jones, the field judge who protected Jackson Smith-Njigba after the skirmish in the Monday Night Football game. He did more than just protect a player in a vulnerable position. He protected Texans players from themselves. Because of him, nobody got hurt, nobody was ejected, nobody's even going to get fined. None of this would have been necessary if the NFL had just given the refs bear repellent like I requested. I assume it would work on other teams too. Jones is a former NFL cornerback selected by the Dallas Cowboys back in 2004, which means he probably has seen more playoff games as a ref. He had a 7-year career. He's been an NFL official since 2019. I only did a minimal amount of research, and he is a super fascinating man. The NFL's YouTube channel has a fun interview with him. I'll pin it in the comments below if you want to check it out. Thanks for watching Shut Up Football. Please leave your comments below, say hi to your mom for me, and we'll catch you next week. Peace!
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
Would it kill you to put a few hoops in the end zone?